we have a good crowd to start the presentation. Good morning and welcome all to our webinar today. Before we start, I'd like to go through a few things to familiarize you with the dynamic of the webinar, and also we'll introduce our guest speaker, consultant, associate expert today, and then I will turn the microphone to him. Today webinar, the presentation will last approximately from 45 to 50 minutes. Then we will have a Q&A session, 15 minutes maximum, for you guys to ask questions as we normally do. Please write the questions in the chat so Charles can answer those questions in order they're showing. We can save the questions to the end of the session. So once we end it and we open the floor for questions, you can write them in the chat pod. Make sure that you turn your sound on and adjust the volume. It's just a small icon located at the top of the screen, and it needs to be green. If you have problems, just write in the chat pod, okay? If you have any technical issues, let us know that you cannot hear well or it's cutting off. So basically we will try to work with you through the chat pod to make it, to find a solution. Normally, when you start having technical issues and you cannot hear well, I always recommend to leave the room and enter again. Okay, because sometimes it's just connectivity issues that cannot be solved. And the best way is to leave the room and enter again, okay? Roseline today is the project officer that works with me in trade support services. She's with me here and she's taking care of you guys in the back end to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So basically, after we finish the webinar, we're going to be sending you a thank you email with the PDF version of the presentation plus the recording. You will be receiving this information, so we will be very grateful if you can fill this survey and let us know how we did. This is important. Your feedback is always important for us in order to improve our webinars, because you are our audience. We need to know how we can do better, what items and topics you will be like to learn from in the future. So we are open to this, and what a better way to do it through the survey. So I invite you all, after when you receive this email, to complete the survey. It's only 4 questions. It won't take too long. So let me introduce you now to our guest speaker. I'm going to share, first of all, the presentation, and then I will like to introduce you Mr. Charles Beresford. It is my pleasure to introduce him, actually. He's been working with TFO Canada for more than 10 years. And it has been always a pleasure to work with him in many trade exporter missions and learn from his knowledge, his wealth of knowledge, especially in this sector, in the produce sector. Mr. Beresford has 33 years of experience consulting, developing, representing, importing, and marketing for growers in the fresh and processed produce sectors in Canada and on an international level. In the mid-90s, Mr. Beresford was responsible for developing the organic produce programs at Loblaws and Oshawa Food Surveys, now including consumer education. The major produce categories which he has supported as an importer and advisor to growers and retailers include mangoes, papayas, avocados, coconuts, asparagus, and citrus. He has worked with a wide range of suppliers, including producers and exporters from Brazil, Colombia, Cuba, Ecuador, Mexico, Peru, China, and the USA. Mr. Beresford has been retained since 2010 to be a Produce Associate Consultant for the Trade Facilitation Office Canada, TFO Canada, and has worked on several produce and frozen produce projects. He's currently working as a Product Development Director for National Produce Marketing, implementing successfully his Total Product Control Program. Welcome, Charles. It's a pleasure to have you here after a while. It's been a while, but I'm very happy to have you here. So please, I have the microphone, and we all wish you a great presentation. I'm pretty sure we're going to learn a lot today.
Well, Maria Isabel, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure and privilege to be here. I want to welcome all the participants from the different countries in the world that work with us. It's an honor to have you today, and we have a situation in the world that is unprecedented, of course. So I hope everybody is safe and well. That's the most important thing. Life, right? So we're here to support life. So I hope everybody's taking good care of themselves. Canada is a country that gathers all the nationalities of the whole world. We speak 153 different languages, and every single race of the human race is represented in this city, in Toronto. It's a magnificent place, and we all live in peace and harmony. And the TFO is developing amazing work to bring people to export to Canada and to try to diminish poverty around the world through trade. So today we're going to talk about the current and future effects of the COVID-19 and the impact on the fresh produce import, distribution, and sales market in Canada. Okay, so that is the first slide. So I'm going to go to our next slide. This is basically, this usually goes at the end of the presentation, but I wanted to mention, give credit to the people that I've kindly interviewed that gave me their time, so you know that the information that is going to be presented is of high pedigree. It's very valuable information. A lot of good people have contributed to the information I'm going to present, such as Mr. Ron Lemaire from CPMA, Gordon Stock of the Ontario Fruits and Vegetable Growers Association, Mr. Joseph Sobraki of the Ontario Greenhouses Vegetables Growers Association, Peter Chapman from SKU Foods, and Anthony Fermusa from National Produce Marketing. Actually, he's my partner, but he has a lot of experience too. And then you can see all the list of people that have contributed from shipping, different webinars that have been a part of that are talking about the topic, and industry publications, TV documentaries that have been very good. Statistics Canada has been very kind to me with the information. FruitNet has been excellent too. Different publications and newspapers and magazines from the industry. So there's a wealth of information here that I'm trying to summarize in the 45 minutes that have been given to share this with you. Obviously, this is a reflection of what's happening. It's almost like we've been hit by something that is very powerful. Like this is a picture that shows like a meteorite hitting the earth, because it's really very, very powerful what's happened, right? So I have three words to describe what's going on with the COVID-19 in the world, right? Which keeps going on as we're talking. It's unprecedented, unpredictable, and totally transformational. That's a fact, right? And of course, I wanted to share this with you that I found in the internet. This is a graph, right, of what's happening on the world every 2 minutes. It's a very good link that I would like to share with you that you guys should go. Marisabel is going to help me access it so you can see the kind of information you can get. Yes, can you click on Canada, please? Okay. You can click on any country. Doesn't matter. Okay. There's Canada. For example, you click on that website,
Sure.
and
Okay,
you
let
get
me
the
know if you see it now.
63,496 total cases of
Yeah, I'm
COVID-19
trying to wait until
identified
it
so
goes.
far. right?
all the way.
And then it gives you all the details of how many have
Here
unfortunately
is Canada.
deceased, how many are active, and how many have recovered. And it shows you the trend of what's going on. And the curve still hasn't been flattened, okay? This is an example of what's going on so we can have an idea of the magnitude of what's going on. We can go to the next slide. I recommend you guys get into this website and explore it more yourself. Yeah. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so let's go. Okay, this is just the latest graph that I could get
So
with
let's go to
comparing
back
Italy,
to the
United
presentation.
States, United Kingdom, and Canada.
Yeah, it's
Unfortunately, you can
coming.
see that the curve of the
Okay.
United States is the highest. Unfortunately, it's the worst off country right now in the world. You know, there's many reasons why we can speculate what's going on there, but we know that it hasn't been stopped yet, and hopefully they can do it wisely and slowly for the benefit of life. The economy is extremely important, of course, because that it supports life, but we have to make a tough decision right now, whether we're going to be supporting life and everybody pitching for each other, or just we're going to be worried about the money, right? So this is a tough choice for humanity right now to make. Either we support life or we support finances, right? So anyway, let's go to the next one. This is the status of Canada up to 2 days ago, May 5th, 2020. It tells you the status of each province, right? And it tells you here, obviously, that Quebec is the worst off right now. The number of active cases registered so far, there could be a lot more, of course. This is people have been checked and diagnosed, right? That doesn't mean that there's not a lot more that have it. And of course, unfortunately, the black parts are the people that have passed away, right? So it's an ongoing critical situation still, right? And then, of course, this presentation is going to tell you what Canadians think about COVID-19, the elements that are in the future, and what are the elements that are making all these changes. I understand that most of you or all of you are exporters of food to Canada, and we want to see the opportunities that there are in our country considering what's going on, and really more as a business opportunity. I'm not an opportunist myself. I think we are all in the business of feeding human beings, which is really a service that is a business because we make money, but it's now more of a service to take care of humanity with the food that we have to nurture our health, right? So we're going to talk how the mood is different, how the markets are changing, and what will be the new normal. Okay, so here, there's actually this presentation that I'm showing here, I've been gifted with to use some of the slides from Avocados. I wanted to mention that I love this particular slide because it really reflects the stages that we're going through here. One is, of course, the bottom one, which says react. We've been hit by something very unexpected. A year ago, nobody would have ever imagined something like this would be happening, right? So we reacted. Right now, we're in the coping phase, still coping. And then the next phase that we're hoping to be is resetting, right? How we are reacting, how we are handling. Some people are trying to get things back to functioning. I wouldn't say normal because they're never going to be back to what the old normal is. And then, of course, phase 4 is going to be the new normal, right? So this depicts clearly the stages that we're going through, right? And I think all of you will agree. So in view of that impact, okay, nothing changes, of course, that's out of the picture. Some things change for sure. Everything changes. To me, I'm more with that one. Everything's changing, right? Except one thing. We need to eat well still, right? And of course, we need our health, right? Of course, we're going to see the elements that have been accelerated or mostly influenced by the virus. These things were happening before, these elements. We were getting very digital, right? Internet of Things, big time. Like I was working very, very strongly on drones to monitor my agricultural fields, sensors. So that was happening. The Internet of Things was getting big. I was starting with a company, a direct delivery service. Even before we thought this was happening, I was already thinking, well, we should start something that where people can feel they're not gonna get contamination or contagious diseases by buying their products at the supermarkets. I could already see that was a vulnerable spot waiting to happen, right? And indeed it happened. Like, we were thinking of starting this a year ago. And then, of course, flexible work, working from home, right? It's now a necessity, right? And then big government. Of course, the government is more involved than ever, is very responsible, if not completely, of making sure all the laws, regulations, protocols, parameters are in place now more than ever, right? And then what will be the new normal? What is the right bet to make? That is all going to be seen in the next few slides. And how are Canadians feeling, thinking about all this? That's coming up ahead too. This is a picture that reflects really the mood of a Canadian that is very concerned of what's going on, right? These pictures are very illustrative. Canadians are paying attention. 77% or more right now are following the news closely, right? Watching TV, hearing the news, connected to the internet as to what is the next step, what's going on, how bad are things getting, or how better things can be, what is the thing to do, is a vaccination happening? So Canadians are overwhelmed with uncertainty. And not only Canadians, this is a world situation, of course, right? This is shared by the whole world. The pandemic has heightened Canadians' feelings about what they're experiencing. Younger Canadians especially are feeling lonely. I can see my kids. My youngest boy is 16, no school. We're trying to create some structure here, but he can't see his friends. He can barely see his girlfriend. He escaped on his bicycle a few days ago to go see his girlfriend. He said, Dad, I couldn't help it. That was sweet, no? But that shows that, the impact that this is having, no? 76% are feeling anxious, right? 45% are feeling lonely. This is the statistics taken by Abacus Data. It's a very important company that works with us very closely, right? And you can see the different age groups and how many are feeling lonely. 60% are feeling lonely from 18 to 29, 51% from 30 to 44. The lack of social interaction that we are so used to being so free about, right? And then how long will this last? Well, this is really unpredictable, but this is a survey taken with Canadians to see what do they think and feel. 3%, of course, thought at the beginning, this is 3 weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks. 7%, 4 to 5 weeks. 13%, 6 to 8 weeks. Like when we first were given the lockdown orders for 15 days, and then it was extended for 15 more days, and then more, right? And of course, that was a kind of a wise decision of the government, because if they would have said, we're going to be locked down for 3 months, people would have been freaking out, and people would have been hoarding the stores to get everything, right? Because that's what happened. People were rushing to the stores to stock with toilet paper. That was a strange thing that I could never figure it out. Why do we need so much toilet paper? Well, I guess that is something that my dear Indian friends don't have to worry about. But nonetheless, interesting, right? And 29% thought 2 to 3 months. 19%, 45 months, 30%, 6 or more months. They were more realistic, right? And now we know the story. We're seeing it unfold in front of our own eyes. The financial impact, right? This is what I keep saying to everybody. We've had the health impact, which is really changing everything, but the financial impact is vast. I keep saying, realistically speaking, there's a financial tsunami coming. Like, when there's an earthquake and then afterwards there's a tsunami as a consequence, right? So we got to look at all these elements to see how we can best deal with it. And that, of course, is influencing everything. Almost half feeling a real impact in the financial sense, right? This is a cute, nice, interesting chart, right? 19% is gonna, they think it's gonna be a great deal, right? And this is again from 2 weeks ago. I'm sure that this chart has changed, right? 19% not much, so it's a divided thinking. Sorry, 19% not at all, right? 30% not much, 28% moderate amount. This is changing, right? But this is what was registered in the polls 2 weeks ago. Consumer behavior in a post-COVID world. We're going to be seeing all that in the further slides. What will and won't change? Of course, there's more cooking at home. As of March 24, 43% more cooking at home. As of April the 7th, 54% more. So this is a month ago. Things have changed even more. Right? But these are the legit stats that we've gotten from the time I was giving this presentation to prepare. Right? These are different, also phases represented in different ways. The first one is the pre-COVID levels. Everything was normal. Then the legal restrictions came. Right? No gatherings of more than 5 people here in Ontario at least. The way to go shopping, stores closing at 8 p.m., the food stores, a lot of other unnecessary business closed, right? Only the essentials open. A lot of restrictions that came on. And then, of course, the next stage will be free to return, which is the opening of the economies, right? But the reality is, what will be the post-COVID levels coming up? The research questions that we have here are the health considerations, what is expected in terms of health, the reputation of provider. We're talking here from the food side of things. What kind of a reputation do you have or do you expect from the people you're going to be buying food from? Are they following protocols? Are they being safe enough with their packaging and their products, their packing houses? We're going to see all that. What are the new habits that are coming that are replacing the old ones? And how is the competition changing amidst the whole thing? So we're going to go now after seeing all those elements, we're going to go very specifically into fresh produce, which is what I've been asked to do. I'm a specialist in fresh produce. And we're going to see things from that perspective of things. And I hope the majority of you can relate to all this. And of course, again, like Marisabel very well said, please hold your questions for the end because I'm sure there's a lot of questions that we all have. How are business handling the situation? Right? This is how people are seeing. Again, this has been a very important poll taken by Abacus, right? Grocery. So the green is handling it well. Grocery retailers, yeah, 63% of people think they're doing a good job. I mean, they're our heroes, right? They're the frontline workers that are making sure that we're getting our food from the stores. They're exposed a lot, right? So all my praise to those guys, my fellow workers there that they sell my products. Of course, it's we need them, and then of course, as good as can be expected is yellow or poorly 5%, right? So I haven't had that experience myself that they have done a poor job, but there's always all kinds of people that have different ways of perspective of judging things, right? And then food producers and manufacturers, how are they handling things? 49% of people think they're handling it well with good coronavirus contention protocols. 37% think they're handling as well as can be expected, and again, another 5% think they're doing a poor job. Restaurants and food service providers. Well, we know that they're closed, right? They're just basically stakeout and delivery. right? So 45% think they're doing a good job, 42% as well as expected, 6% poorly, right? And I have friends that now I'm selling my produce to that I used to have my dinners or lunches there, and they become my dealers for produce. They're selling to I have a friend that has a restaurant called Kogani here in Woodbridge, Japanese restaurant. It's a Chinese lady, very nice. And she started now selling mango boxes and papaya boxes and guava boxes to uh, to her clients. She has 1,300 clients, and she's become a direct-to-consumer delivery of produce besides her food. Right, so that's very interesting. She started with 30 boxes 3 weeks ago. Now she's selling 8 pallets a week of mangoes and 3 of papayas. That's quite an interesting evolution. Concerns about the impact of price, the statistics are there. The price of food, of course, 21%, 90%, 21%, and that's, the darker is extremely concerned. The red light is very concerned. The pink is somewhat concerned. You can look at the statistics. I'm going to go a little bit faster because we have a lot to cover, but you're going to have access to this presentation anywhere. But this has three interesting concerns, right? The availability of certain types of food products, right? 16% they're very concerned, 16% are somewhat concerned, and 21%, 16% are very concerned, and 16% are somewhat concerned. The transmission of coronavirus through the food system. And then, of course, we've been told that the coronavirus cannot be transmitted through food. Well, that depends on how you want to see it. When you go to the stores, right, most of the product there has been handled by several people. And you have to make sure that you wash it well, because the virus could be there if somebody comes a year ago, even when I thought of starting this, even before the virus happened, I saw a gentleman that was going to my mangoes at one of the distinguished stores here, and he unfortunately sneezed on top of my mangoes. I said, uh-oh, a lot of people are going to get colds, right? And that's like what gave me the idea. We should start selling our products in a protective packaging, at least give that option to people so a virus is not spread around, right? So anyway, that idea came a year ago after I saw that, right? And how many times have we gotten calls and said, how did I get it? That's what happens. You go to a place where somebody spread their illness, and then more so now, this virus is extremely contagious, right? Um, so confidence in the transport system, again, the statistics are there. Those who transport food by truck or rail, the potential of the transmission of the disease through transportation, right? It's all there. You can see the statistics, of course, of the level of concern. And people are confident mostly that everything's okay, right? Let me go to the next. So the frequency of grocery shopping has changed even more now. 66% is shopping less than usual, right? Sorry? I'm sorry. I don't know if you told me something. I can't get him. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So good. So far, so good. Okay. Okay. So why are you going grocery shopping less than usual? Well, it's obvious. 84% think trying to stay home and distance themselves from others, right? That's the whole point. The social distancing is affecting retail. Demographic density is
I
now
will
known
mute
to
thy
be
microphone.
dangerous, right?
Right.
So it is uncomfortable to go shopping to the stores. I was waiting half an hour 2 weeks ago to get into the Fortino store here in Maple, right? It's one of my favorite stores. A friend of mine is the marketing manager for the company. I love going there. She's done a great job. I love that store, right? And half an hour to wait. And the unfortunate thing that I saw, which I hope is not a sign of things to come, there was a gentleman that was just coming to pick up one thing for his mother-in-law, because he said it, He didn't want to wait till the whole line
Charles,
in a fight start.
Charles, sorry to interrupt you, but I guess we're having a problem. Let me see what's happening, but I guess some of the participants cannot hear
Oh,
you
okay.
well. Just so if you get closer to the microphone, that will help.
Okay.
I'll let you know if I see something else. I'm sorry to
Oh, no,
interrupt
that's
you.
okay. Please let me know what's needed because we want everybody to get the benefit of this, the explanation anyway. So can
Yes.
anybody, is there
Yeah,
anybody doesn't hear me? Do you want to type it? If there's somebody that can hear?
yes, they're typing. So
Fantastic. I'll just get closer to the mic. Okay. So, like I said, a fight erupted in front of everybody. Like this gentleman lost it. He'd been waiting for a long time. He just was coming to pick up, I think it was one apple or two apples for his mother-in-law that wasn't well and they needed to eat right away, apples. And he said, please let me go through. And then the security said, you got to wait like everybody else there. And he explains his circumstances and people said, let him go. The security guard said, no, he has to wait. A fight erupted. And you know, we're going to need a lot of patience with each other these days, right? Patience is a very important virtue that we need these days. So I am buying more groceries than I usually do when I go shopping. 36%. Yeah, people are shopping more so they don't have to keep going back to the environment that could be contagious, number one. Even though there's very good protocols in place at Fortino's, for example, and many other supermarkets in Toronto. But still, it's like, you know, they have to wait in line to get in, wait in line to pay. So it's complicated. It takes a long time to get in and out of the stores because that's what it is. So 21%. I haven't had time to go grocery shopping, 5%. Well, that's a good one too. Um, okay, so how risky do you consider each of the following types of food products? Fresh fruit not in packaging. Too risky, 15%. That's actually still high, right? Somewhat risky, 58%. So there's starting to be concerns, and I'm sure they has gone up in the last 2 or 3 weeks since this survey was conducted. Fresh vegetables not in packaging, same thing, 14%, 57%. We're going to be addressing that in the next slides that are coming up. Bakery items baked in store, right? 9% is too risky. 51% think they're somewhat risky. Fresh vegetables in plastic packaging, even they're in plastic packaging, 6%, somewhat risky, 48%. Because of course, even though you package the goods, people are still going to the stores handling stuff, right? So fresh fruit in plastic packaging is the same thing, 44% too risky, 47% somewhat risky. Right, that is why I'm going to make a little comment here. I'm seeing the growth, and I'm going to mention it here. It's going to be coming in the next slide, but this is a moment to mention it. The direct-to-consumer business has gone 700% higher in the last 3 weeks. 700%. Of course, the base was 1.2% of the population were buying either on a pickup or a delivery, like Grocery Gateway, for example. And now it's clumped. There's not enough people to service that, support the service that Longos provides. And there's, of course, there's many other companies that are there, like DoorDash and Instacart, you name it. So other behaviors, target shopping, people are going out for specific products, for example, that are better for health. People are buying more vitamin C, immune boosters, right? It's a great opportunity for people that have suppliers that can provide us with immune boosting fruits and vegetables, right? Of course, produce, you're going to see on the slide that's coming up, I put it, of course, it's a product of choice for health, right? But people are picking even specific type of, like pomegranates are known for their immune system boosting. Avocados, they're going out the window. I mean, it's like avocado has glutathione, for example. No? I can give you a whole lecture about avocados itself. It's one of the best foods for your immune system, for your heart, for your brain. It's a great product. Papayas, my God, it's full of enzymes, and you know we can talk about this. So people are going for those, and mangoes. as well. I didn't know until recently how good mangoes were, right? In terms of vitamin C's, right? Vitamin A. So people are going for certain products. Kale, no, it's an amazing product. Larger baskets, of course, people are buying more again, so they don't have to keep coming back. And then, of course, people are going for longevity and safety. What does it mean? Frozen produce, right? That can keep in the refrigerator. Blueberries, all the berries pretty much keep their properties when they're IQF frozen. You know IQF, you're all in the business, individually quick frozen, flash frozen. It keeps its virtues, right? So, and of course, canned goods, right? They're not the healthiest, but you know, it keeps you alive. It feeds you, right? That's longevity, safety, right? And then what should leaders bet on? What are the things that are most likely to happen that we should get into considering? Depends on the length of economic deterioration that we're going to go through and whether a vaccine emerges and of course when. We do not have yet anything to control this medically, to stop it, to cure it. There isn't still a cure, right? Or a vaccine. So the only thing that is being working, and I'm afraid that's going to change now that everybody wants to open the economy, is social distancing, right? And the masks and all the PPEs, personal protective equipment. That is what we've been resorting to flatten the curve and to protect people, right? So it all depends how that works. Now that we all gonna open the activities again, let's see what happens, right? We have to be very cautious. Of course, household finances and new interests may alter long-term behaviors, like we are seeing. Compete to find new solutions to fit a new normal. Rethink your sales strategy, right? These are all factors to be considered. What are the drivers of consumers' behavior in the COVID age is coming up? Isabel, how much more minutes do we have left? Isabel? Okay, Marisabel? Okay, anyway, I'm gonna keep. Okay, so I'm gonna speed up a little bit. Okay, I want to thank Mr. David Coletto from Avocados that allowed me to use some of his slides. This is a presentation that was sponsored with the CPMA, but I found some of these slides very relevant, so I included them with my presentation. So my best wishes to David and best thanks to him. Due credit. Now, this is my point of view about things, which is only logical. Two distinctive historical eras. Before COVID-19, like before Christ, with all due respect, of course, this is for the Christians, there's a big marker in history. Before Christ and Annus Domini, right after Christ, marks for Christians. For the whole humanity now, we have something in common. Before COVID-19, which I call here for presentation purposes BC-19, and after COVID-19 or AC-19. We're resetting our priorities from now on. Things are changing, as we know, forever. This is very surreal. Consumer priorities, AC-19, after coronavirus 19. The essentials are, number one, of course, health. Personal protective equipment, that we have medical staff and systems that are there in place to help us, that there's hopefully soon vaccination, that there's medications to help us control certain symptoms. Like, there's a few things that are being discovered gradually, right? Definitely not drinking detergents or things like that. I mean, that was crazy, but nonetheless, health is crucial. It's the foundation of everything, right? That is why everything is affected. And number two, in priorities for human beings, besides the air that you breathe, is your food, what you put in your mouth. And of course, water is part of this deal. But without food, what are we going to do? And then we are essentially still, and this is a reminder that we are essentially an agriculturally based society. We are very sophisticated and getting more going to space, putting cars in space. We have amazing smartphones, GPS, Internet of Things, you name it. But that's for communications and for connectivity. That not necessarily is going to make us live longer, right? I mean, it's very important that we have the best communications and technology possible. Well, we need food. We need agriculture, right? So Canada, of course, depends on local production and imported. We're going to get into the details. So the availability of the food, the supply logistics for food, the affordability of food, and healthy, available workers. Those are the priorities right now, right? Like, anyway, let's go further. Um, and of course, the economy and the finances, right? That is the system that we have invented centuries ago to be able to have a way of value our things and in trade and be able to make things more functional, right? But that system is being affected, right? We we might even be thinking of bartering in some cases. It's already happened last week with somebody else that said, pay me with mangoes and I'll do the courier delivering for you. My courier now is being paid with mangoes and papayas, right? Um, so anyway, everything's affected due to social distancing, people becoming sick, this business performance disruptions galore, as we know, severed productivity and output, right? That is all affecting the economy. That's why there's a financial tsunami. I don't want to be a pessimist or an alarmist, but it's a reality that we have to deal with, right? That's why patience is going to be needed and a high degree of evolution in human beings' virtues in order to help each other the way we're supposed to, right? Because no money is going to give you your health. No power is going to give you your health. You may say, well, I'll buy you more, but at the end of the day, you get hit by this virus and that's it. You have to take care of yourself, right? We have to prevent it. Fresh produce is a food product of choice for health. That's a fact, right? And the main attributes required in fresh produce, AC-19 era, consumer priorities. This still is a big one and it's never going to change anything. The best quality and flavor in product, freshness, and enjoyment of taste. We need some comfort, right? And I think products that are tasty, that are nice, that are appealing to the eye, always attractive, always priority. And of course, besides that, the nutritional content, immune system support, promote overall health attributes. This is what you have to be marketing your product. This is the necessities. Now, sales is a very simple thing. Locate a necessity, identify it, and then come with a good that's going to supply it. People will take it away from your hands, right? That's sales. Right? That is true sales. That good sales. That is service sales. Find a necessity and satisfy it. We need good, healthy, high quality nutritional products so we can feed ourselves well, so we can be strong for this virus. Then, of course, crucial is food safety, right? To develop trust, you got to show that your company is compliant and very much into making sure the product is safe and people can feel that. And, you know, if you have videos, pictures, certificates, global gap certification is a must. Now it's a law in Canada. We're going to talk about it in a little further, but it's a law now. It's been a law for a couple of years, but it's been being postponed. So to give chance to exporters to catch up with what's required. But as of January 2021, nobody will be able to sell any food item here, especially produce that is not global gap certified, right? And from picking, of course, to packing, you have to have now the COVID-19 contention protocols in place and a safety packaging presentation if possible. And of course, last but not least, and most important, of course, best value possible. There's going to be a lot of people with less disposable income, so food has to be affordable. Make it affordable, right? Let us not be speculative. This is not the time. I mean, this is a time to come through, right, with a good food product, make a reasonable profit, but allow people to have it. It's like I have developed an organic product with the help of the TFO, of course, 10 years ago, we started this organic mangoes project in Peru. And I discovered with the growers that they were selling their mangoes already at regular mango prices because they had a lot more production of organic that they could sell. So they were selling it. So I said, why don't you sell it as organic at conventional prices? And that took off. We sold 30 containers that year from Peru to Canada on that premise, right? And it's keep going on. People are always waiting for the Peruvian organic mango to be here because it is accessible, affordable. We want more people to eat organic. That is the way really food should be, without chemicals, if you can handle it, right? Anyway, so this is a time where people need good food and at affordable prices so we can feed the world, right? And of course, two important influencers in the sales of produce is that you are having a socio-economic impact, and the people can see that. The educated consumers in Canada, they want to see a change for the better. Part of the thing that's happening in this world is that we've been disrespecting nature, right? And of course, nature is reacting. The writing's on the wall, right? Let's be wise. I mean, this is nature reacting to the silly things that we're doing, things that we shouldn't be doing. Like I'm a vegetarian, by the way, and then of course that's why I like this business. But 70% of our arable land is dedicated to development of animal protein. Why? We need protein, of course, right? But if 30% of that land, 30% of that land was dedicated to grow fruits and vegetables, we could feed humanity 14 times over, right? Can you imagine if we dedicated most of that land instead of growing animals that, those meat factories are a source of infections, are a source of antibiotics that deplete our immune system, right? Weakens our immune system. I mean, I'm not against my dear friends. My dad was actually, his business was meat development. That's how I ended up being a vegetarian. He was the founder of the Agrarian University in Peru, one of the founders. He was a vet. He was in charge. He was the dean of the whole technical department. And I saw when I was 6 years old, the first time when I went to the slaughterhouse, I was struck. That made me a vegetarian, right? Anyway, that's another topic that we're not here to talk about. What we're talking about is let's start doing things that are reasonable, not just because of greed and money. That's where we are. We need to develop food that is healthy, and that is good for the planet and for the human beings. Socioeconomic impact, fair trade, very important that people get paid well, that people are taken care of, there's no child labor. Environmental impact, I was just talking about it, no? Try to be as healthy as possible, right? As organic as possible, as natural as possible, right? And definitely, I am a non-GMO person. I have nothing against people. I respect everybody's work. But there's big concerns in consumers about GMO food. It's even in the TV now. It's a non-GMO product. Our product is non-GMO. It's a big concern. It's backfired a little bit, the GMO production in the world. To this, I want to finish to this part. Become a corporation B certified, okay? The corporation B certified is a new thing that has started in the United States. Here's the link, right? Take a picture, register with them. There's a chapter for Canada now. What that means is that you are a socioeconomic impact company and an environmental impact company. And the motto of this organization is let's do good by doing business. That is the new era. Let's do good by doing business, right? Let us not destroy the planet or people's health to make money. That's totally out. Can we see this video real quick, Isabel? Okay. This is, if possible, good enough. Yeah, this is in Spanish. Tomorrow we'll have a presentation in Spanish. You can listen to this, but I'm going to translate a little bit. This is a video made by the Association of Big agricultural developers companies in Peru. They gifted this to me for this presentation. Mr. Gabriel Amaro,
That I think
great
I,
guy and
okay,
friend.
it's here
This
in this
shows
one.
how Peru has been
So
dealing
I'm going to
with
mute the volume
their
so you can talk about it,
coronavirus
okay?
protocol from picking to packing, from the fields. You can see how they're dressed, how they're handling things, and people here are expressing in this video where they're from, the company they're from, and how they're handling the protocol for coronavirus to make people trust in their production, right? They are Global Gap certified, but on top of that, they have implemented the masks, the gloves, the sanitation 2-3 times a day with disinfectants. They checking the temperatures twice a day when they come and when they go. Somebody gets sick, they take the measures they take, right? So this is a very good video that shows the contention protocols, right? And you guys get the idea. If you can produce this for your companies and send them as pictures, all my growers in Mexico and in Peru are doing this, right? So you want to inspire people, and you can do a QR code on your stickers, on your PLU stickers or boxes, so people can see what you are doing. That's super important. Trust is crucial these days, right? And the girls here are saying, together we can do it. We can defeat this virus. Okay, that's the end. Well, this is a nurse that has been hired by one of the companies to check on their employees, right? Peru was the first one to implement real quick coronavirus contention protocols, and it was used as an example worldwide of what they were doing, right? I gave this to my Mexican friends. They loved it. They did something like that immediately, right? So here they're saying we will defeat the virus altogether. Anyway, that gives you the message of the importance of production. It starts with how you're producing in your fields. See, they're all well covered with personal protective equipment to protect the people that are going to eat this and to protect themselves, and they're keeping the social distance when they work, right? So we're working only with the basic personal, number two, that is needed to produce, right? We're taking all the measures of prevention and hygiene to make sure you get high quality and safe products, right? That's Peru. I'm Peruvian, by the way, but not I'm promoting Peru. I'm promoting the fact of what needs to be done. Take an example of this and try to do it if you're not already doing it, right? That's crucial. And then let's continue with the presentation. Try to speed up as much as I can, but the message is not clear. Okay. So let me go. Canada fresh produce supply. To those who didn't know, right? Of course, Canada needs to feed 38 million people. That's a little bit more than the population in California. But anyway, it's the second biggest country in the world with the population of California. But anyway, we have 75% of our produce is imported. We need you guys. We need you guys badly, right? Local produce is 25%. $4 of every five, according to Ron Lemaire from CPMA, is imported. $4 of every five that is bought in the stores is imported, right? Imported produce. So here we already mentioned that 61% is coming from the United States, which is in big trouble right now, which is going to open opportunities for exporters to supply what's going to be short. Starting with Mexico, which is very close, and then all the other countries that traditionally export to Canada. If you're new, if you are with a TFO and want to penetrate the Canadian market, this is a great opportunity, provided you have all those qualifications, right? Then, of course, the European Union, Mexico, like I said, Brazil, China, Chile, and Australia are the main ones in the list. Together, they account for almost a quarter of all imports. Import quotas have not changed much over the past 2 decades. As a matter of fact, imports have not been affected the last period of time since the coronavirus. They have increased a little bit more, right? If anything, because we've been selling more produce. Canada, just for reference, imports $403 billion a year on everything, out of which, for a perspective, fresh fruits and vegetables imported are 10 billion, almost 11 billion dollars, out of which fruits are 6 billion and change, and vegetables 4 billion and change. The source is Agriculture Canada. Check it out for more details to see what your country is already exporting to Canada. It's a very good site. I highly recommend it. Take a picture, go in and surf it. It's going to give you a lot of perspective. Statistics Canada, they're champions. They do a great job. Here is a list of what I downloaded from that website. I don't know if everybody can see it in their computers, but it gives you the 10 most important produce, fruits, actually, in Canada. Grapes, bananas, strawberries, raspberries, all the berries, cranberries, avocados, apples, almonds, oranges, other fruits and edible nuts. Anyway, that gives you an idea. So go and surf that site. It's very good. Comparison conclusions of imported produce, like I was saying, in Canada between the same periods of time this year and last year. If anything, there was a slight increase, mostly in certain fruits, immune boosters, right? Import, logistics, and services have been affected by COVID-19. Sure, borders remain open for food, especially in Canada, for business, very important for significant and essential businesses. Transport logistics are somewhat affected. There's less people driving, there's less people, there's different shifts in customs, and then the custom agents. There are some delays, right? That's affecting a little bit the on-time deliveries, right? Because of workers' availability and schedules and people getting sick and social distancing, everything's affected, like we've talked, right? So departure and arrival schedules are affected, and even the volumes of goods ships are affected because of that. So keep an eye on your logistics and your services to make sure we can get the food here on time. Shifts in consumer shopping behavior, like it was mentioned before, here's the details. The basket size has increased 41.56%. People are taking more home, even though there's restrictions on how many items you can take home. Now, even this week's even more regulated by government, but people are buying more to go less times shopping. Shopping, this is a crucial one, has shifted online, actually 40% now. And then 20% of people, are spending less time in the store. Self-checkout has surged 3.89%. Well, at Walmart, it's 100%. And as the ones that have been at Walmart here. This is a consumer poll by Canadian Grocer, which was very good to me too for this information. Okay, you can look at it in more detail because I'm going to go faster now. Protective packaging is crucial for AC-19. Recycled plastic is being considered now, where before we're getting it out because of the environment. This chart is important. Please check it out. 38% more people want fresh vegetable wrapped. 36% delis. Fresh fruit, 36%. Bakery, there's a tendency of more protective packaging food, so people haven't touched the product that you're going to eat. Still clean your package when you get home, like we do here at the house. Take your time. You don't want this virus to come into your house that way, right? This is the databases from Category Partners. They gave me this information. This is from March. This is a real quick sample of protective packaging, right? Where before you could see this loose on the shelves, bulk now is covered so people can be more confident, right? New safety rules and regulations for fruits and vegetables in Canada now in effect. It's called the SFCR, Safe Food for Canadian Regulations. That is crucial. It was crucial as of January 21st. Everybody had to be within that norm. Now it's obligatory 100% to have global gap. And whatever regulations we have, you can go to the CFIA website, which the TFO has the links for, and study it and do it. Otherwise, you won't be able to sell to Canada. To this, now add the coronavirus safety contention protocols, with the CFIA is also mentioned in there. I'm not going to get into the details here, but Please read this slide later, okay? Um, the Canadian produce market sales platforms are changing, right? How will market about 4 of every $5, of course, is imported, right? Food service has changed dramatically, as everybody knows. Pre-COVID-19, it was 40% of food sales, right? Restaurants, that's food service, right? Restaurants. And direct-to-consumer online sales has grown. I already mentioned that 700% from the base, which was only 1.2%. Pickup and delivery is phenomenal growth since between March and April. The trend continues and it's going to settle. Everybody thinks between 30 to 40% after the big deal is gone. And I think it's going to be even more. Distribution systems and channels in Canada, major cities post-COVID-19. This is a chart that I've made. This is mine. It's a bit small, so keep closer to your screen. I've been presenting this for the last 10 years, right? And I think the slide is not showing the colors that I had underlined there. But anyway, I'm going to mention something. With the food service, which is their food service distributors, in restaurants, it's supposed to have like a yellow circle. That means that section is off. It's very, very distorted because people are not going to eat to restaurants. It's pickup, delivery, and it has slowed down significantly the sales. I have a friend that has opened a restaurant the week that social distancing was ordered, and he doesn't know what's going to happen now. He's thinking he's going to go bankrupt even before he started, right? There's a lot of restaurants closing. There are going to be a lot of bankruptcies. There are a lot of people that are suffering, right? They need to reinvent themselves. So there's this. So we everything starts with the exporter, right, on the top. Then he goes to a local broker. Then he goes in Toronto to the Ontario Food Terminal, which is a big distributor of food. You can sell to guys there, right? Then there's the importers, wholesalers, and distributors, right, that buy from the exporter. Then there's the big chains, the middle-sized chains, small independent stores, and then the food service distributors. And then you see a blue circle there or ellipse there. That is the new segment that has started to reach the consumers, the direct-to-consumer, which is either by a shopping service like Instacart or pickup and delivery services, right? There's several companies that are doing that. Pretty much all the retailers are doing that now, right? And that's growing tremendously, we keep saying. Even the restaurants are doing that, right? So all production, distribution, and sales formats are affected and changed by coronavirus, contention protocols, and social distancing. All of this chart is affected. Even the food terminal now, there's social distancing. It's making it very hard, or, it's very difficult. You have to keep the social distances. People are not allowed in the stalls at the food terminal. So let's see how this all chart is going to shape up in the next few months. There's no food terminals in the other cities of Canada, right? And again, food service businesses are severely affected. Restaurant formats will be different, right? These are the outlets through which produce is sold in Canada. This chart is very interactive, but now it's going through a major transformation, and we got to be very conscious that to whoever we're selling, that we are going to support them in giving them products that have protective packaging and have all the certificates that are needed. Global Gap, for sure, is required, or HACCP, of course, Primus, you name it, and then definitely coronavirus contention protocols. Again, put it in your QR. Canada produce sales, according to the CPMA, produce yearly sales is about $15 billion a year. That adds up to what we were seeing in terms of the imports, which is $10 billion. The other $5 billion is produced locally. According to Canadian Grocer, again, it was 40% of food service. That's radically changed. The first quarter of 2020, the volume was slightly higher. The coronavirus is making people buy more produce. Thank God. Anyway, these are some statistics, which I'm going to fly by quick because we already talked quite a bit about this, right? And then, of course, we've been mentioning this too along the way, right? A new Nielsen survey of consumers from over 70 countries shows that 79% of Canadians and 71% of Americans expect the spread and intensity of local COVID-19 impact in the country to increase. This thing's just not over, right? 8 fruits and vegetables recommended that are high in vitamin C. As you can see, there's peppers, there's guavas, there's papayas, there's strawberries, there's mangoes. The pixels make it look a little funny, but that's a mango. Passion fruit, broccolis and cauliflowers and Brussels sprouts. They have a lot of vitamin C. That gives you an idea. Okay. Final thoughts. We're getting there, Maria Isabel. We're getting there. Final thoughts. Category partners research based. And I'm taking some of their ideas here. Shoppers under 35 are much more likely to report increased stock-up trips. These are marketing strategies, of course. Increased purchasing of packaged fresh fruits, again, protective packaging, and increased purchasing of larger packages. The reported shift in shopping trips and altered food purchase behavior was substantially higher among younger shoppers. Younger people report much higher use of online shopping more than older consumers. Right? Online shopping is really taking off. So talk to your buyers. Put it on Facebook. Partner with them. Tell them that you're going to help. Nothing stops you from putting your products on Facebook. It costs you some money. Tell your buyers you're going to mention their stores, their names. People like to buy still in Canada from companies that help with sales. Companies here bring hundreds of products. You got to concentrate on your product to make it fly. What advantages do you bring for somebody to want to buy your product, right? It's very competitive here, more so these days. Affordable pricing, food security, food safety, elements that will be attractors for people to buy. Hey, we are on the Facebook. We'll mention your store. We're spending some money to help sell our products. Do that. Be proactive. My claim to fame in Canada with the big guys have been that I spent crazy thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in in-store demos when we could do it. Now you can't because of all this, but you can use the online to promote yourself. The supermarket chains love it. Where is the volume? In the big supermarket chains. Sure, it's shifting now because of direct-to-consumer. So companies that have direct-to-consumers, that's where it's at, right? So think about strategies to help support that aspect. Okay. Produce sales grew again at the end of March 28, according to the most recent available data, but the growth was much less dramatic during the last couple of weeks. Things are kind of normalizing, quote unquote. 20% of survey respondents aged 25 to 44 old said they have changed their food shopping behavior because of the furlough or lost jobs. Well, I'm going to continue fast because there's a few things that I want to mention before we're gone. One factor that hasn't been fully accounted for in data is the economic impact of the efforts to slow the spread of the coronavirus. We're going to be very impacted by the financial situation, so be prepared yourselves and be prepared to sell product for less than what you thought, but get it going. Take it as a service. I mean, you don't have to donate your food, but go at a very low margin so you can sell and help people that have less money. We are at a point now that we have to think of helping each other in this world, right? So let's make a reasonable profit. As the economy and society reopens, we will see what the impact of the virus will be in the food wholesale and retail sector. That is still not concluded. So before I say goodbye, I want to say I got a letter sent to me by the Ontario Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association. Gordon Stock, very nice gentleman. Ontario farmers continue to struggle with accessing skilled international essential workers to help plant, grow, and harvest crops for the 2020 season. This is an issue affecting Ontario's food security, right? So we've gotten less people. We depend here on foreign workers, Mexicans, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, that come and help us harvest and plan for the next season. That is severely affected. we are going to have issues of shortages, right? Most likely, so there's an opportunity for exporters to send their products, right? Look at the 10 most imported products. Go to the Statistics Canada and see which are the products that are produced more in Canada. We're talking about apples, we're talking about berries, we're talking about lettuces, we're talking about root vegetables, right? Those are going to be in shortage, right? So we import all those, but we're going to need more, okay? And then, of course, uh, last but not least, it's very important that we remain focused on our health, that we do everything is revolving around making sure your workers are safe and that you can show that people that you're taking care of your people and that we are in sync with what's happening in the planet right now. We need to change our priorities. We need to make sure that we respect nature. We work with agriculture. I love working with agriculture. We're an agriculturally-based society. Let's make sure that we produce as healthy, as clean, and as safe as possible. I want to thank you very much for your time. Muchas gracias for I know the Spanish-speaking people. Stay safe, be well. Together we can make it. God bless.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you so much for such an informative and updated presentation, valuable information. I'm pretty sure the exporters and the organizations that are in this room will take this information, will adjust export strategies, and of course we at TFO Canada are here to help you, to guide you, and to take advantage of this opportunity, because as Charles said, we have to eat, and that is a constant, and we need to import food into Canada. So now I'm going to open the session for questions and answers. We already have one. His name is Hatin Charles. He said, and maybe if you see it in the chat bot, he said, if we want to go back in reverse calculation from the price of produce products in retail stores in Canada to the exporter selling full price before and after Corona, how is calculated and changes, as you said, the prices?
So on normal times, give it that if you go directly to an importer, of course, without a broker, right? The importer is going to charge between 15 to 20% markup to the price that you offer to them. There's no duties in Canada for imported produce, except sometimes asparagus, certain time of the year, but I think that's even have been lifted now because of the circumstances. And then, of course, the stores or the importer wholesalers will sell it to the stores, and the stores usually mark up no less than 50%, sometimes 70% on their and no less than 35 on the price they bought, right? So what I would say is to be on a reasonable place in terms of offer, make sure that when you quote a price that you are, I would say normally 5%, 8% minimum, right? 10% maximum of your cost of FOB, right? Don't charge a markup on your freight, of course. Calculate, I would say, your net profit shouldn't be ever less than 7%. Right? So I would say between 7 and 10% would be a healthy markup for you to put on your product, right? I don't know if that answers your question quite a bit.
Thank you, Charles. Next question is from Maria Rieta. Let me just, okay. Thank
Sorry,
you,
just out
Charles.
of curiosity, what country would she be?
Commissioner of Argentina, Trade Commissioner. So do you think big supermarkets will open their options to buy new exporters? If it's known that the product purchase managers are very strict on the opportunities to give to new companies to offer the products to the big chains, how can we help our companies to get in contact with them?
So first of all, it's a very good question. The big business in Canada has been so far with the chains. They command at least 60% of produce sales in Canada, right? Imports. So the big chains, the big three, To add to that, now you can add Walmart and Costco. So it's Loblaws, Sobeys, Metro, Walmart, and Costco. They are having all direct purchase procedures. Now they want to buy directly from country of origin, anything that is from one container or truckload up. What are they have their teams going around. You contact through the TFO, we have the information, or the CPMA, what are the names of the buyers, or through the Blue Book. The Blue Book has them as well, right? What is the main factor for you to sell? Definitely, you have to have your global gap in place. You have to have now your coronavirus protocols in place, and you have to definitely have a product that is off-season from Canada, of course, like Argentina used to sell to us. Loblaws used to buy a lot of citrus from you guys, right? And asparagus and other products. But I would say it's approach the buyers, go directly, tell them who you are, show your credentials. They need to see that you are a company that is going to comply with all those certificates, that your quality is up to par. Have a spec sheet, a technical spec sheet that shows what are your standards of production, what is your production volume. Make a nice little PowerPoint presentation that shows the main features of your company, your packing plant, your people, your protocols, and if you have some references of who else are you selling to, right? If you sell them to other countries, or if you sell them to somebody else in Canada, and offer your product, offer your product, and if you need some help, let us know at the TFO. We'll be more than happy to help you. I mean, I have a lot of experience with all the big chains. Been there, done that, big time. It's always good to sell to those guys because they have the largest volumes, right? But you have to be compliant. For example, Loblaws has a 40-page
Yeah.
new supplier protocol that you have to comply with, right? Start by getting I have a copy of that. Start by getting a copy so you can see what's needed, right? And Solvay's is no different, Metro is no different, and Costco is very strict. So get their protocols and find out what is needed for you to. They're always open to receiving offers, right? Anyway, in brief, welcome.
Thank you, Charles. Next question is from Andres Iraceta. Great presentation, Charles. Thank you very much. A couple of questions. How open are buyers for sourcing from new suppliers? How do you perceive
First of
the
all, what country are
opportunity
you
from
from, if
other
you don't mind me
countries to
asking?
bypass the U.S. distributors and producers?
Okay, that's okay. Um,
We don't have it
okay,
right now.
great.
He
Well,
might
Mexico
answer
has
you
great.
later.
I
Yeah.
work a lot with Mexico on a
Okay, I'll let you
daily
know.
basis.
Mexico.
Mexico has a great opportunity to sell to the companies here because you're so close, right? You don't depend on big logistics, ships and transshipments. So the opportunities are there. I would like to know which products do you have, but the opportunity is there. So you have to make a nice presentation of your products. Again, put a nice little PowerPoint, right? If you have make sure you have a website in place. Make sure you have all your online digital information in place that shows you have to be, first of all, the supermarket chains won't buy from brokers, won't buy from middle people, will buy from growers, exporters. That's a must. Grower exporter that has a proven record of having established production with all the certificates that I've been talking about, that you have Global Gap, that you have HACCP, you have Primus, that you comply with all the protocols that are needed now for the coronavirus, and that you have a clarity in terms of that you are offering to Canada and the package that is required, that you already have knowledge that your product has to come in English and in French in the boxes at least, of your POUs, your packaging, your information, your certificates, all of that information. Put it all together in one package, get the phone number and the email of the person, of the buyer, get it from the Blue Book, get it from TFO, get it from CPMA, right? And send it over. I mean, we could advise you quite well to see if you're ready or not. I mean, I have a lot of experience sending to those guys. Right now, I'm working with some of the children of the guys that started 30 years ago, right? That are there now. So there's a lot of experience to be transferred that can save you months of
Well, the
work, that
wisdom
can
of
save you a lot
knowledge.
of, failed situations. We can guide you, right? We can definitely guide you. Contact us and we'll help you. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Charles, some of the participants would like to get a copy of the new supplier protocol you just
Okay, so
mentioned. Do you
okay,
have
so
it? And
there is
do you have a copy
we're
that we
talking about
can maybe
that
attach
I
to our
have a
email
copy that I can give to the TFO, right? Of
or any link?
a new supply protocol for lawless, right? That I have that I can give you, Isabel, and so people can see the complexity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of yeah.
Please. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sure.
It will be a good exercise for sure. So send me the copy, and we'll
One
make
thing
sure
that I
to send
advise,
it to the
Marisabel,
people
to
that
all our dear
participated
friends
in
and,
the
and,
in the
and
in the in the
registered companies
webinar.
that are
Okay.
working is definitely, of course, try to go direct, but rest assured that big supermarket chains will buy specific sizes, specific qualities, specific packaging. It's good to have a local support company work with an importer wholesaler that is aware that you're going to be selling to the supermarket, but use them as local support. I strongly advise it, that you have a local support that is going to look after your interests in terms of taking care of the sizes that the chain's not gonna it's not gonna buy, that can sell to the medium size chains in Toronto. There's a nice big volume there as well. And if you have any rejections, because I've been there and done that, if the chain you arrive and the chain doesn't like your product and they reject it, that you have a house or a place where to go to with your product, that people will help you repack it, resell it, or do something. Do not work without local support. That's my advice of 30 years of experience. Okay?
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. So the next one is from the Commerce Counselor from the
I
High
love your
Commission of
okay, go ahead.
Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Hi, Charles. Nice presentation. Do you have any suggestions about any Bangladeshi fruits and vegetables? Within very short time, mangoes of good qualities will be available in the market of Bangladesh. What kind of requirements you
Okay.
suggest for
So I was just
Bangladesh
gonna say
with
mangoes.
the mango,
Okay.
Bangladeshi mango to send?
Mango is I'm gonna tell you something very, very important. Mangoes are in the ranking of preference of consumers in Canada. It was at 16 when I did the research for the TFO back when they asked me about the mango project for Peru. It was a position 16 of preference, right? In 10 years, it's gone up only to position 14, right? And that's lousy. I would say there's a lot of mango coming to Canada, but of poor quality, right? There's a great opportunity for mangoes in Canada because of our ethnic population. There's a lot of people from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, a lot of people from your ethnic side of the world that love mangoes. They will buy mangoes if they see good quality mangoes. Now, let me tell you, to come from Bangladesh, we have to come by air. It's air flown. It's expensive, right? But there's a market. I'm going to tell you, I was selling my Peruvian Edward mangoes, which is a mixture of the Alfonso mango and another variety from Taiwan that is grown very beautifully in Peru. It's one of the best tasting mangoes in the world. $24 a case I was selling to the retailers. $24 for a 4-kilo box. That's a lot of money. That was right before, and even when the coronavirus thing started. People are going to be short, but let me tell you something. There's a lot of money in this country. There's niches. So you probably have to look for a niche mango where you can sell your product by air. Make sure that you have high quality, ready to eat mango. That is what we are starting. Mango is the king of fruits. You know that. In your part of the world, mango is the #1 most selling fruit in the whole planet Earth because of Chinese, because of Indians, because of Bangladeshis, because of Pakistanis, you know? So we need to get the mango out there by bringing quality mangoes. You have beautiful mangoes in Bangladesh. Talk with me, talk with Marisabel, talk with the TFO, we'll help you. I'll guide you, we'll guide you. We'll be more than happy to guide you so you can be successful. We need good mangoes, right? Prepare. I love mangoes. I eat a couple of mangoes every day in avocados. But
Yes,
anyway,
we do.
but mango is a commodity that can be tripled in volume in Canada, maybe even more. I want the mangoes to go up to #5 or 4 of preference in Canada because of its health virtues and the pleasure that it is to eat mangoes. It is an amazing fruit, right? So let's help you. I want to get into detail. I need to know more details about what varieties you have, right? I don't know if you have the Alfonso there or the Kessler or what do you have there in terms of variety. I'd like to see the pictures. I'd like to see a technical specification. I need to see your season of availability, right? And marketing and sales, promotion. This is a good time to sell mangoes. It's good for the immune system, and we need the mango to get up there. It's a comfort food. It's nice. It gives pleasure. It makes people feel good. So let's get your information more in detail so I can guide you more. But that's a great opportunity. Okay. You depend, of course, on the availability of the airlines, right? Which are hungry to get going again, right? But you need to see which airlines you have that could be coming here, and let's explore, if possible, how long would it take to come here by boat. I know it's prohibitive, I'm sure, but let's talk. I have a lot to tell you. So let's get in touch. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
The next two questions are related to Global Gap, and with these ones we close the session. One is coming from Rosemary de Sosa, who is our regional representative in Quebec. Is there a new logo being developed or
Not to
existent
my
for Global
knowledge. I
Gap
mean,
certification?
you can always put that in in the sticker, right? You're allowed. You can put it in your box. It adds to your appeal, right? And it's getting to be more known by the consumer, right? All this online information is getting out there, but it's going to inspire consumers to have some kind of a credential on the sticker and on the box for this consumer buy by the box to have something that mentions, it's not a law, it's not a requirement to put it on, it is a requirement to have it and to show your certificate. It's not a requirement to put it on the sticker or on the box. Again, it's not a requirement yet that I am aware of. It's not, but it is an added marketing plus. Like they say for the Jewish people, when they see kosher, like I used to bring a lot of canned sardines from Peru, and I put kosher, and I doubled my sales, right? Because now there was a whole huge market here that started buying because of that. People now are definitely trying to see how trustworthy your product is. Once they know it's Global Gap, wow, that's going to add to consumer confidence, right? And to the produce stuff to see, okay, this product it is a law to have it as a certificate. It's not allowed to put it on again, but it will add up greatly to your credibility with consumers that you have such certification. Yeah.
And Charles, last one is mostly, I like to respond it
Sure.
because it's a general one regarding supporting the SMEs and in trainings for Global Gap. This question is coming for Ofon Odofia, say TFO Canada is supporting trade and TSIs to improve export to Canada. Is there any support in terms of Global Gap, since Charles has said that will be required? Yes, we do have some trainings under projects. So when we implement projects in different regions and countries, especially in the agricultural, in the agri-food sector, we try always to include these type of training if it's necessary. If we identify something that is demanded in the import market in Canada. So we have done it in the past. It depends if we're working with your country and we have an implementation plan. For sure, we can assess this and be able to address and training or build the capacity in the companies
Well,
to
I
comply
think,
with these
again, like I said
practices.
earlier,
Do you
Marisabel,
want to
thank you
add something,
for
anything,
allowing me to say
Charles?
something. All this experience, consultants in books or prints or information we have, it saves a lot of pain, really. Hard work and trials and errors when you get all the guidance that we have, all the trainings that we have, because there's a lot to know about how to penetrate the market and details and requirements. That once you are aware and a buyer sees that you are aware and know what you're doing, they're going to buy from you once they see that you know what you're doing, right? One thing that I heard a lot, Marisabel, with all due respect to the work that we do, when I start calling buyers around, friends of mine, to get missions coming to visit, he said, please don't bring people that don't know what they're doing because it's a waste of time, right? Please bring people that we can work with. And of course, I always tell them,
Yeah.
you know what? Everybody starts somewhere. Please have the patience. Some people are just starting. We're trying to train them, but this says everything. Study, research, know your stuff, and then come and hit the bullseye. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Be professional. Let's put it that way. And then we help people reach that level of
Yes.
professionalism about Canada, right?
Sure. I agree with you. So that's all for today. Thank you very much, everybody,
Thank
for
you.
taking your time and participating in this webinar. Thank you, Charles. It's amazing. The information that you provided was is very useful and is key. And I'm pretty sure most of the information that you delivered today is helpful for the SMEs exporters and also for the trade support institutions. We will be sending you guys again a thank you email with a link to the survey as well as the PDF presentation. So grateful if you can answer those 4 questions for us and let us know what you think and how we can improve our webinars for the future. So let's stay safe and
Thank you very much, everybody. God bless
everybody
you
be
all.
safe and have a good rest of the day. Thank you, Charles. Thank you.